Welcome back, Panther fans. I'm David Brown here with Ryan Graham,
Hey, y'all.
and this is State of Atlanta. Tim is on vacay.
What's new?
I know, right? I want his life.
That guy
It's
goes
great
on
without
vacation so much, man.
great without kids, right?
I'm really just jealous, you know.
Right? I know. I'm with you. I'm with you. All right. Not a lot of Georgia State stuff going on. I mean, the only, I guess, big thing, which is not even big at all, is we got some kickoff times announced. That's some crazy stuff to talk about.
Well, it's a bunch of night games, right? Is what I saw people chatting about.
Right. Yeah, it's all 7 o'clock games basically that we have known, but like which one of them was totally, we knew. It's the South Alabama game on a Thursday is obviously going to be a night game.
I mean, you hope so, right?
You would think so, honestly. With Charlie, who knows? Like, oh, the home shopping channel gave us a great time slot at 11 a.m. on a Thursday, so we thought we put it on there.
Well, it would
Yeah, no,
be the Sun Belt if there was an issue there, and but I mean, I gotta say, I would not be surprised to see the Sun Belt. But you know what? But like Mac would do it first. The Mac would do it.
well, that was
Would
the
be the
joke.
first ones to do day
That was the
games.
joke from the Conference USA schools when they were joining about, they were so excited about being in a ESPN conference because they struggled finding their games. They were on like really weird paying services that no one knew how to get to, and sometimes it'd be like one game on a Facebook feed or something.
Oh
And
yeah, no, I remember the days.
the running joke was that you can only watch their games on the little TV monitors at the gas station pumps is where you could watch games for Conference USA, which honestly
They probably get more eyeballs on that.
they get more eyeballs on it, and it would be comparable quality to content they put on those little video screens there. So, but yeah, no, I think it's pretty good. I like that night game, especially home games early on in the season when it's still pretty hot out there, to be able to have it a little the chill off a little bit once we go out there to the game, and obviously it means we get to tailgate all day long, which is why we do this, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just I've been losing weight. I'm gonna gain it all back, eating and drinking all damn day.
That's nothing wrong with that. Well, it's only one day a week. You just fast for the rest of
Yeah,
the
no,
week.
I have been cheating on the weekends pretty good. So
I think that's fair. When I lost all my weight, I was very, very strict during the week, and then just lived my life on the weekends. Like,
oh
if we went out to a wing place, I'd get wings and fries, I'd drink beer and everything. But then come Monday morning, it's back to the grilled chicken and rice and crap like that. But that's not
see,
what we're here
I'm
to
not
talk about.
I'm not like strict about anything. I just don't take my Adderall on the weekends, and so I'm like, oh, I'm hungry.
Maybe I
And
need to
then
get on that Adderall stuff.
but then I'm like, man, I haven't eaten Monday through Friday, so like I can pretty much just eat whatever I want because I'm still heading in the right direction. So I'm just gonna do whatever I want.
There you go. There you go. There you go. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing really to talk about night games. That's cool. That's awesome. Hopefully, we get more of them. But I don't know if there's anything to say there at all.
It does put the pressure on to do a better job with the tailgates, you know?
Right, and to get people out there early. Because how many times we get out there and we get there 8 o'clock in the morning and we don't see anybody till like 2 or 3 o'clock.
It's pretty
That's
weird.
always frustrating.
Yeah,
So.
couple stragglers, or I say stragglers. That's usually the later people. We'd have a couple of like kind of ones and twos show up as well, you know?
Well, our tailgate we'd always get going and everything, but to see another tailgate get set up, and I do think that the students came out a little bit better last season, especially the Greeks and everything. I think they were putting those tents out for them up front, and they were getting out there pretty early and getting their cornhole going on. But even their partying didn't happen until hours into the day.
Athletics, we have a lot of complaints, but I feel like one thing that I saw that they did it seems like they did well because that they showed up, but like you just said, the Greeks showing up for tailgates and stuff, it feels like they were a lot more invested last season, I guess.
Right.
And they were showing up, and I think they were just getting treated like they're special, and frankly they are. So
This was
yeah.
this first year of combining the tailgates with the students, because we didn't really have everything was kind of separated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't remember if this is the first or second year we've been
I
doing
think it's the
this
second year,
setup,
but yeah.
and I like that. I mean, there's no reason we should be splitting our fan bases up right now. Have as many together as possible.
Yeah, you gotta make it an event, like, where it is, right? So, like, have it be a big festival, even if it's a small festival, make it a festival.
Right, exactly.
So,
So,
yeah.
that's it for kickoff times.
Shoot, man,
I didn't
alright.
know how far I didn't know how far we could talk about that anyways,
I
so,
tried to drag it,
uh
man, I don't know.
the conference championship game, football conference championship game they announced is actually getting moved up a day. It's gonna be on that Friday, uh, rather than the Saturday, so it's not competing with the SEC on that Saturday. So 7 o'clock. Was it 7 o'clock? I think.
Did we used to compete with the SEC championship?
Well, it was on the same day as the SEC championship.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, people would
But
be
it
out
looked
there doing that, so
right, and it looks like in most of the G5 or G6 Pro, I guess G5 because the Pac doesn't have a conference championship game. Most of them are already on that Friday, but whereas Sunbelt will be on ESPN proper. You got like Conference USA on CBS, SN, uh, Americans on either ABC or ESPN3 combo there, and then Mountain West is to be determined time on Fox. And then MAC is the only conference that actually is playing their conference championship. The only G5 program or conference playing their game on that Saturday still.
well, I'll
So
take
the
ESPN
noon
proper
time
all
slot.
day, every day there. ESPN's where
I think it's
people go to
good. Do you
watch
think that? I mean,
sports.
it's one day. Do you think that benefits the host team at all by having an extra day of no travel or whatever?
No. I mean, if
I
it
don't think
does,
it
it's negligible, you know?
Yeah, that was one of the questions posted on the message board about whether or not it wasn't saying they did. It was asking the question, does this give the host team a slight edge or slight advantage? I don't think it's any more than they would have already had by hosting in general, right?
Yeah. And that's the number 1 seed, right? So they deserve an edge anyway. So if it's like a small one, then whatever, well deserved. You know, it's not like we're giving them the W.
Uh, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
What was I going to ask? I was going to ask another question along. Oh, following that up, do you think that you'll start seeing teams that try to get that game before move to the Friday that after Thanksgiving versus playing Saturday to kind of give them a little extra chance to prepare?
Nah. I don't think people think about it that much. I don't even think it matters that much. Like people talk about like short weeks and stuff like that. I've never seen any kind of data that actually bears anything out saying that if you have a short week you do worse or anything like that. It might
Right.
be out there, but I've never seen it. I've just seen sports pundits say things like that, but I don't know if that's true.
I feel like it's got to be a mental thing. If there's anything at all, it's a mental thing about like disrupting your routine. But you wake up and you're doing Friday's stuff on a Thursday. Who really cares? And
Yeah.
then the Sun Belt being, I know Texas State's kind of out there, but in general, everybody's flying. So you're talking about like what? No more than a 3-hour flight, a 4-hour flight, maybe. So it adds an extra hour to your commute by coming to these games. I don't think that it really
Yeah.
changes anything and stuff like that. So
I don't think any
it'd
of
be
them
cool.
care. They're like, I mean, because like, I don't even work out or anything, but what, it takes you like a day or two after you work out to like kind of your muscles get better, right? So whatever.
Yeah,
And they're
yeah.
working out every day in between, probably. So
Plus, on a mental thing, there's also all the adrenaline and the energy pumped up because you're playing in a conference championship game. It means more. You're more excited about it. You're
yeah,
you're ramped. You're ready. You want to play that game. You don't want to wait an extra day. You want to get out there and actually get the game going. So
yeah,
it probably doesn't matter at all.
I don't think so.
It was funny when I was looking at this. I just happened to notice that I guess this season Georgia's playing Tech. It's at Tech, but they're playing at Mercedes Benz.
Hmm.
And then the very very next week is the SEC championship. So obviously Georgia has a very large shot at being in the SEC championship.
Hmm. Hmm.
If they somehow end up in the Peach Bowl, they could play 3 games in Mercedes Benz
In
back
a
to back
row.
to back.
Yeah, that's funny. That's just
That's actually kind of
that's just
amusing.
their home stadium now. You know.
Oh my god, it is a home stadium. Hell, I go to a Falcons game. I see plenty of people wearing Georgia stuff.
Oh,
You
I
know,
thought you were gonna say red and black, and I was like, uh huh.
no,
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
just for
and
UGA. Yeah, which I'm kind of okay with, whatever. At least the colors are right. But what annoys me is when I see people wearing United stuff at Falcons games. I'm like, all right, come on,
At least it's the
wear Falcons
facility
stuff.
too, I mean, there's some common and the colors are all the same too, right? It's like a
Yeah,
it's a
the
weirder
red's
red.
different for
It's a different
United. Yeah, it's
red.
like a
Yeah,
more of a crimson or some. I don't know. We need Tim
yeah.
here to educate us on the five stripes. I do like they call it the five stripes. It's a pretty cool nickname.
Mm. I think it's
But
okay. I mean, you know me, I am I'll go to another game. I'll go to like a Falcons game in my Georgia State because I'm like, oh, I don't have. Well, I have Falcons, but what did I go
yeah,
to the Hawks game in? I think it was Falcon shirt because it was like same
I
color.
think you were wearing a Falcon shirt. Yeah,
I don't have a Hawk shirt. Why would I?
I have I have one Hawk shirt. I had to go find it when we went to that game. I had to go dig through the closet to find the one Hawk shirt. Otherwise, I would have worn probably Georgia State stuff. I have
Yeah.
the Hawks hat. I think I did wear the Hawks Georgia State hat.
There you go. Oh yeah, you
So,
did.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, conversation. Do you think I was gonna say, do you think we host, but like, what would it be
I,
like for us to actually be able to host a conference championship game? I think is the stadium prepared for that? Does the attendance even change that much differently?
it might go down. Are, is it the home team? There's a home team, like a proper home, like there's a host home team.
Yeah, one seat, the number one team overall will host the game. We don't have
Oh,
a
okay.
there's not a neutral site.
I got it.
So
Okay.
yeah, if we run the East, we would host here. I mean, I was trying to think. I mean, I think we'd probably see a pretty good turnout depending on the team we were playing. It'd have to be a West team, obviously. Troy may get a big turnout just because of proximity. If we hosted something,
Yeah.
probably yeah, I could see some of the schools traveling well. Maybe like Lafayette or Arkansas State would probably travel pretty well for something like that. But I don't know. I just don't know if it actually even looks like it's that big of a difference from a regular Georgia State game if we were to host a conference championship, which in it of itself is pretty damn sad.
Yeah. I think our stadium could definitely handle it, right? I mean, it's designed for very large crowds. I don't know if our facilities department or athletics would handle it well with a larger crowd because it seems like
Right.
maybe they don't do that well already. So
Yeah. No. Obviously, the stadium can handle it. There's seats. There's
yeah,
plenty of seats.
yeah,
That's not an issue. But yeah, it was. Do you think the facilities could actually put everything together to get a larger crowd in and out, handle the concessions, get security in place, all that kind of stuff? I don't know. We haven't had a reason for them to do it yet.
yeah. I mean, security always seems fine.
Well, people sit so far apart. There's not really anything to worry about, right?
Well, I mean, you have plenty of like people employed in security. I feel like at the gates, there's like a whole army of them. It feels
Right.
like, and then as you're walking around, there's GSUPD, and because I mean, their headquarters is in the building, so
Right.
it's pretty easy for them to get there. And I don't know, when I went to Georgia State, we had the largest police department, college police department in the nation. I don't know if that's still true, but it seems
I
like it
can't
might not be.
imagine. Yeah, I can't imagine that it would have, gone down with the acquisition of Turner Field. We've had to have added officers. The patrols have been expanded. Obviously, you said even you saw GSUPD patrolling areas in Summerhill that were not campus or were not Georgia State property.
Yeah, that died down some, like as they moved in. I
Right.
feel like maybe they got told, "Hey, you don't really need to do all that." And then there was a security. There was a Carter had security around there too. So
They want to
anyway,
get their
yeah,
crime. They want to get their crime on. They don't want cops coming in there getting rid of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm anxious to one day host a conference championship game. I'm just kind of curious, what it would if it would look any different than what we already have. So
well,
we got
yeah,
a
not sure.
we got a comment. What is it? Doesn't Sunbelt Conference come in and help run the championship events? That's kind of a question that I was thinking about. I would assume the conference tells all the programs once they decided to do this, you need to have a plan in place for this. And then, yeah, maybe Sunbelt does provide some resources towards everything to beef a few things up. But I'm just curious, did Charlie actually put the one person we have working there to work to put together a strategy and a plan to, all right, if we, and you kind of have a pretty good idea if you're in the running for a conference championship game there those last 2 or 3 weeks. But like, that after that Saturday game, if you figure out your hosting right now, you got 5 days to get the stadium ready. Probably I would assume there's gonna be a lot more Sunbelt branding going on, and you would think some promotions. I don't know, but I would assume Sunbelt does help in that regard. They're gonna want to do stuff to get their media blitz going.
Well, and sponsorships, like you just said too, they're going to have to rotate those, and I bet the Sun Belt gets a sizable chunk of that and brings in the sponsorships as well. So
Right.
yeah,
Well, maybe one day we'll figure it out. I don't know if it'll happen this year. The early, predictions for us is not looking good at all. So
nobody could know.
no
There's
one
no
can.
way anyone knows what the hell's going to happen. Everyone's new, and all the teams, the whole
Right.
Sun Belt is just like a new crop.
Yeah, I think that's you probably see a lot more variety at our level of play. Yeah, I think you'll see teams go from worst to first way more often in the Sun Belt, or at least that opportunity to happen, than you'll see in the SEC. Like, I don't think anybody's concerned about Kentucky or somebody like that actually vying for the SEC championship this season. You really need that continued success and build yourself up. Whereas in the Sun Belt, one season a team could come out of nowhere and do great. So was it Southern Miss didn't win a single Sunbelt team last season, but now they got Coach Huff from Marshall, brought a bunch of players in that won the Sunbelt last season. It's
Oh
very
yeah,
possible.
right. They transferred from Marshall.
Yeah, from Marshall. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's very
hilarious.
possible. It's very possible that Southern Miss could be that worst to first, at least in the West, to really compete for something. I don't know if they would get to the point where they could host or win the West, but it's a bigger chance than we would see in a power conference. So it's kind of cool. It makes it a little bit more fun as a group of five fan. Your team could always less necessarily be in it.
Yeah. If all those Marshall players like suck at Southern Miss, you're just like, what is like yellow? Just not your color? Like what is I mean, like you got everything is exactly the same. You got all your same teammates, all your same coach. Like
Same
what?
schemes, same
Yeah,
everything.
what are you doing here?
Oh, Mississippi's not really. I mean, it's West Virginia. Man, West Virginia and Mississippi. Like, my God, could you pick two worst states to go to college in?
West Virginia's at least pretty.
It is pretty.
It's pretty
It's
out there.
pretty.
You gotta get past the burning couches and all that and the what is it, the wonderful whites of West Virginia.
Yeah. Well,
Because
if you ever want to film a movie that takes place in 1900s Mississippi, you could just film it now without doing any set changes at all. Just Mississippi looks like it did back in the 1900s.
oh yeah,
And I
no
mean,
different. Yeah.
early 1900s.
Yeah. That's funny.
Still have the gas stations that are no longer around. They still have those signs up everywhere.
Do you know, I think the only time I've besides my what did I did the Olive Branch, Mississippi, which is like
Hmm.
hardly count it, but the only other time I've ever been to Mississippi, because I consider that Nashville, was me and you driving to Nashville. That's pretty much the only Mississippi I've done.
We didn't drive to Nashville.
Not Memphis.
Memphis.
My
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. You're on I-22 there for a little bit. You're not really in. I mean, you're in Mississippi, but you're not. Did we even stop in Mississippi?
I don't think so. I don't think so. We saw like the Ole Miss sign and we were like, "Oh, it's a couple miles that way or something."
Yeah.
And I
Surprising how close
noticed
it
the
is.
highway was like made of some mix of clay and asphalt instead of just asphalt. And I'm like, "Oh,
And
okay. We're on a dirt road. Cool."
and tears and sorrow.
Chain gangs and stuff, right?
Exactly. There was some local college football news that kind of made the rounds over the past week. Georgia Tech awarded rings to their football team for last season's 7-6 performance.
Well, did it say 7-6 on the ring or was it because it was because they went undefeated at home, right? So it was like 6-0.
I think it said 5-0 at home because they weren't counting the Florida State game in Ireland or something, which
Fair.
count that game.
Nah,
I mean, it was technically a home game. It took up a home slot in
I would
their
say it
schedule.
technically wasn't a home game,
Yeah. But they did actually put the Florida State and I guess it was the Miami score on the underbelly of the ring to show that they beat the two Florida schools.
Hmm.
So I did that show with our buddy Rec Talk, the Georgia
Wait,
Tech
wait, wait,
podcaster.
wait, they beat Florida State in Ireland?
Right. Dublin. That was
Why
like the
would you
first game.
count it then? Why wouldn't you count that then? That
That's
doesn't
what I
make
said.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah, okay,
I said.
I get you. If they lost that game, I'd be like, "Don't count that," but, like, if you won it, why wouldn't you count it?
Right.
Yeah, okay,
No,
my
that
bad.
was the big upset because they beat Florida State in Dublin and they flew back here and we thought we had a chance, but they didn't work out too well. But I was talking. We were on that Rec Talk show that I did on Friday, which is a lot of fun, by the way. And he kind of gave a little bit more information about it. He thinks it's a horrible idea. He hates it. He thinks it's embarrassing for the program, the school, and everything. So he's not, defending it at all. But he did give a little bit more background on it, and that was that it was a booster of Georgia Tech who's a jeweler or owns like several jewelry stores or whatever, wanted to make rings for the team as just a thing, as a gift or whatever. And I think maybe there was no intention of the rings being public. It wasn't like
Oh, I
a
can't.
presentation type thing. But yeah, it's
That's
2025, buddy. You do something that's going to, especially if you're giving these things to 18, 19-year-old kids, it's going to end up on social media,
Well,
So
I mean, he should have just made it a marketing thing and not tried to hide it. Just been like, "I'm rich and wanna give rings to these
yeah,
players," and then, use it to advertise your business too, you know?
go all in on it. Like, yeah, this is not just a little thing that I'm doing because I want to do something with my business for the program, but like, yeah, we're Shane Company, and this is what we're doing for our hometown
Yeah.
heroes, or whatever you want to call it, and something. But yeah, and the coach could have shut it down from the beginning because it is a bad look. But I honestly didn't really care when I saw that. If a team does want to give their players rings, especially nowadays, I couldn't care any less.
What if we got a ring for, did we get a ring for the Tennessee win? Just the Tennessee win? What if we did that?
Oh, that I would have hated.
Yeah. See?
I would have hated that.
Not cool, man.
Yeah, I
But
know we.
but if some ring company was just like, "You know what? I know y'all didn't do so hot, but, like, I really just wanna give my team rings, and also come shop at whatever," you'd be like, "Yeah, okay, whatever. That's cool."
We would need to get rings from. I mean, the way that Georgia State would need to do this, it's got to be like some inner city pawn shop that's making rings for the players. To really kind of be on brand with everything. No ring is exactly the same. There's jewels kind of misaligned on there.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
One's got like someone's like hair still in it or something.
Oh
So
god. That's terrible.
but no, we got made fun of when we went to the very first ever bowl game, that like the Cure Bowl that we went together
Yeah.
to, and well, we didn't go together, we hung out together there, and we got beef from a lot of people, especially the Trash Down South fans, for giving rings out for that. But I didn't care about that because it was first bowl game in school
It's
history.
history. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine to be rewarded, but I think it kinda diminishes the value of giving a ring if you give it too often. But
Yeah.
when I saw that whole thing about Georgia Tech, I really didn't care. I
Yeah.
just like, whatever. Let them do their thing.
Yeah.
That's
But
a
I
that's
mean,
a
it's fun making fun of them. So, there's that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Anytime we can make ourselves look better than them, I'll take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, we
So,
didn't do
we think
that.
yeah, we got a comment, Leon, "Is there a ticket allotment for Ole Miss game for Georgia State fans available on Georgia State Athletics website?" To my knowledge, there's not been an allotment that's been put out there yet, but they do message season ticket holders when that comes up.
It's
I
usually a lot closer to the season, if not the game, I'm pretty sure,
Yeah,
that comes out.
yeah, I would say come August 1st,
Yeah.
start looking for that email if you're a season ticket holder. If you're not, I'm not sure if you could get into that allotment. If you're a student, there may be something they do as well.
Yeah. I mean, even if you've purchased your season tickets for this year, you do not have your ticket allotment for our home games yet. So, you know, like
What do you mean?
if I log into it right now, and I do have my payment plan going. I saw. I had to go in and click on invoices and stuff. I think I explained this last week. But
Yeah.
it doesn't, there's no tickets in there though yet, because they usually load it with the tickets also very close to the actual season. So like they haven't even
Yeah, I
really
wanna say,
figured
yeah,
that stuff out yet.
they load those, like, days. Like, I wanna say last season or 2 seasons ago, it was, like, 2 or 3 days before the season
Yeah.
started, before the accounts actually showed up with the tickets, and they've done it earlier in the past. But, yeah, no, they tend to give allotments. I think that's typically part of the contract is they, give out, like, 3,000 tickets or something.
Yep.
I know it's an SEC school. They could do whatever they wanted to. They could say no allotment, but I feel like every time we've played any out of conference game, there's always been some ticket you could buy through the university.
Yeah, and the SEC teams usually give us pretty good seats too. It's usually like a lower level corner, like where they would normally put, like the band is usually in a corner as well, and we're just in some
Right.
like opposite corner. And I I think we've had really good seats at every
I
SEC
think
game.
Auburn seats were pretty good. Wasn't Wasn't South Carolina like an end zone seat? I feel like we were in end zones for that one, whereas Auburn was corner end zone. Tennessee was a little upper corner end zone.
Yeah,
So
maybe.
yeah,
I've never been
we
upset though. I mean, they're nice stadiums too. Oh, I guess Tennessee's not a nice stadium at all.
I was gonna say no. Tennessee's a dump. That place is god awful.
South Carolina wasn't really very nice either. Bama
South
was
Carolina
nice.
was dated. Bama was very nice. It's like they got some extra money coming in. I mean, Auburn was nice as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but, all right, the Georgia Tech another Georgia Tech thing. I don't think this really matters at all. But their athletic director took off to Michigan State. Do you think that we could get them to hire Charlie? There's no relocation expenses here. The guy doesn't have to move houses at all. He can just stay here and come right in.
And look, if they're just looking for autopilot and for him to like keep the lights on and maintain like their current trajectory, then he is your dude. You know, I think he's your guy. So
Could you imagine uh, if this thing happened, if this 80 goes, Charlie did get in there, and then the Tech at Georgia State game got canceled. The return trip got canceled after Charlie got in there.
well, that would be horse shit.
I mean, there was no way that you could tell us that, like, it was, a decision that was coming anyways. You're like, what the hell is Charlie doing?
I think we're probably still, if that happened, like even now, I think we would still be like, did they know?
I know, right? Oh yeah. It's like, we're gonna hire you when this guy leaves, but you need to go ahead and do us a solid and just sign off on this game. I mean, or maybe that's what happened. They hired Charlie. And we find out that they canceled the game, and he agreed to no compensation. We're not going to get paid our 800 grand or whatever the 500 grand, whatever that cancellation fee is. So.
That's kind of what pisses me off is that it's basically like because so we got our cancellation fee. I think it was $1 million, right? Something like that. But the going rate for a G5 opponent is more than that, and so they basically got a discount on their game with us, on their home game with us, which they would have paid. They probably would have paid us like 1.4, $1.5 million had they just scheduled the game or the home game with us and it not been a home and home.
I don't know if they would have paid that much. I think that
Well, they could have.
the over millions are a little rare for a G5 versus an SEC team or a Big Ten team. But yeah, we got because I think it was 800, 850 when we beat Tennessee. That's how they had paid us for that game. And I mean, Alabama still owes us $1 million from that game they canceled back in 2020.
Is that true? We haven't received it. Do you know that?
I do not know it for fact, but there has been nothing that's ever been said about us getting a paycheck. And Charlie's always big about announcing when we get money from another school. So,
all right,
that's why I'll consider that game a forfeit. We have another win over a SEC school. Got one over Tennessee, one over Vandy, and one over Alabama through forfeit until that check comes through and clears. That's why
I find it hard to believe that they didn't.
I think the argument for it is that it was COVID and everyone just kind of had to roll with the punches and everything. But yeah,
I don't know.
Get us back on the schedule.
Yeah, that would work.
We played them.
Fun time.
That would have been our third time playing them, right?
Yeah, I think so. They like playing us. I guess Bill Curry just like warmed it up. I don't know.
Yeah. Leon clarified South Carolina was lower corner on the goal line. I felt like I was sitting really end zone-ish, but I had been on a bus drinking all day long, so who knows?
I was gonna say South Carolina for me is pretty rough. I remember walking around that park, that chain link fence parking lot right across from the stadium where we were like heckling their fans. Well, we were heckling their fans that were dicks, which there were a few.
Right.
Yeah, and then just being cool with everybody else. So
Yeah. That was the bus trip where we got in trouble. We got told on for the cheer team or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
Oh yeah, but here we go. Leon definitely remembered a lot better. Perfect line of sight for the 2 blocked punts.
Well, I see. Maybe that's why I've blocked it out. Actually, alcohol was like, "You don't need to remember this," and I'm like, "You know what, alcohol? You're right."
Good call, alcohol. Yeah, I knew you were my best friend. No, I think the thing that I remember the most about South Carolina was actually just getting into Columbia, and like right when we first like rolled in like off the interstate or wherever, I don't know how close Columbia is off the interstate, but we kind of rolled in. I just like saw like a house up on cinder blocks and some broken down cars, and I'm like, holy shit, did we make a wrong turn and go to Statesboro? It was just Columbia was a dump. Like I know that Coach Elliott is or Sean is on a lake house out there, and lake houses tend to be pretty nice, but man, the rest of Columbia is just a dump.
What was the bit? It was like gun shop, liquor store, gun shop, liquor store, liquor store, gun shop. Where the hell are you taking me? I think it's a Chappelle bit somewhere or something like that. I don't know.
It sounds like it. Sounds like it.
Yeah.
No. Speaking of Center Park Stadium, I saw that the Bahamas Bowl will not be played in the Bahamas this season for some renovations. So they're looking for a new host site that will not be in the Bahamas. Apparently, they played this
Atlanta.
in they played it in Charlotte before. Is it Charlotte or Coastal? What does it say? Oh, it was played in Charlotte in 2023 when the stadium wasn't available in Bahamas. So they're looking for a place now. I mean, yeah, I think we should totally. I would be on the phone with the Bahamas Bowl, be like, let's do it here. Come on, Atlanta, it's
How
easy.
often is the stadium in the Bahamas not available? And like, why do you continue to want to schedule something there if it's unavailable so often?
Dude, I have got to find for you this Reddit thread or the social media thread where somebody just kind of stumbled into the Bahamas Bowl while being there on vacation. And it is hilarious because like there was no security. The guy just like walked through with no ticket. People were walking onto the field. Like it was just like they were hosting this event and they didn't even know what it was. It was just
That's funny.
crazy. Yeah. No,
I guess
I
they
think that
figure, like, if you're there and you know where it is and you know what it is, like, you probably do have a ticket, and it's like, "Eh, whatever."
right, right. But I saw that the was it what is it the Idaho plays in the Kibby Dome.
Yeah,
The Kibby Dome commented on the tweet that I saw that said, "Check your DMs, Bahama Bowl." Like, could you imagine you get to go to the Bahamas Bowl,
in Idaho.
but instead you end up being in Idaho, covered in absolutely just like mounds and mounds of snow. That'd be honestly, that's kind of a reason for them to actually go there because that'd be
They should do
hilarious.
it, yeah, just for
Just
just for fun.
just for fun, yeah. I think I own. I think I have the Twitter account of Georgia State Stadium. I should probably message them. Maybe I should get this ball rolling.
You have a Twitter account called Georgia State Stadium?
I buy up website domain names and register Twitter accounts whenever I think of something is funny, and just hold on to them forever. I'm one of the problems with the internet, and I think I know I own GeorgiaStadium.com, GeorgiaStateStadium.com. I think I got the Georgia State Stadium or GA State Stadium Twitter account. I think it could be. I forget. But I think it would be kind of fun because I think that we should host a bowl game anyway. I know there's too many bowl games as is, but we should totally host a bowl game.
And we make a little money for the program doing that. I mean, it's a good idea, and easy destination, world-class stadium, like, there's a reason we could do it. We should do
Makes all the sense in the world to do it. We
it. Mhm.
can definitely do it. Nothing else going on there. Bring them
If
in.
if 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 whatever that high school is in Montgomery gets a bowl, we should have one.
It's weird to me, and I know a lot of it's just historical, but like how many just crap towns have bowl games just regularly when there are better football
Mhm.
stadiums nearby. I mean, at least with whatever the Mobile Bowl, they built a new stadium. Birmingham Bowl built a new stadium,
Yeah.
but
Well, the one in Montgomery, though, I mean, if I'm remembering correctly, there were no built-in concession stands at all. It was like carts that they have to bring in for the game, and I'm pretty sure that's the only thing they play there is that one bowl game every year.
that place was built before the idea of selling food at a football game was ever a real thing.
I don't know what it was. Like, I mean, it really is. I mean, it's probably on par with, I wanna call it Grady. I don't know what's it called in Midtown High School? Grady High School, which is a very nice high school stadium,
Yeah,
though. But, like, it's probably on par with that, maybe a little worse, honestly,
yeah,
but I'm like, "Okay, what are we doing here?" Like, what?
yeah. I'm shocked that bowl game is still played there. I mean, there's a lot
Yeah,
of bowl games I'm surprised are played where they are. It's
yeah.
probably just cheap as hell to do the whole event or something versus doing something else in Atlanta. I mean, but like, you can't just like really fly into Montgomery from wherever you are in the country. You've got to like fly into I don't know, I
Birmingham?
don't Birmingham, I guess, and drive down. I don't know.
I don't know where cities are in Alabama. I know where
Birmingham is, and I know that Mobile's on the ocean.
Mobile is. Yeah, and
They're filming a movie at Georgia State Stadium or Center Park right now.
yeah, that's what you were. The pictures from one of those recruits, right? Had like the Raiders in the end zone or something.
Because it's the John Madden movie, so you're definitely gonna have Raiders on there, and then they've got it's a picture was posted today. They had Vikings logos painted in one of the end zones, which is kind of funny because it's still just Georgia State everywhere. The tarps are still up over there. The Georgia State Panthers tarps and like all the backboard and everything, but then right there in the end zone, it's the old Vikings logo from back in the 70s or 80s or whatever it was.
They keep the camera tight, and it's fine.
And that's all CGI'd out anyways. It'll look like Raider Stadium,
Oh yeah,
once
that's true.
when they show everything. So,
Well,
but
and
that's kind of
and
cool.
that stadium that it would have been there, as long as it was that old, would have been a baseball stadium as well, right?
Oh yeah, the A's when they played at the Oakland A's.
Yeah, the Raiders played in the same place, yeah, as the A's,
Yeah,
which is kind of
yeah.
neat,
I think
weird.
some garbage trash down south fan comment when the first came out the movie was being filmed there. They makes sense it's being filmed in a baseball stadium. Like, it makes sense that you dumbass. So
You mean an Olympic track and field stadium, asshole?
yeah, oh, yeah, a world class facility, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, a place that everybody in the entire world fixated in for 2 weeks out of the year.
Mhm.
Yeah, that
Yep.
place, that
Yep,
place,
yep, yep.
place is awesome. Yeah, I'm excited about that, and they've been in there for what going on a month now. So that's just revenue, revenue, revenue for the university for the athletic program. 'Cause
Hope so.
I think athletics gets the money for any rental that goes on at the stadium.
Nice.
So yeah, that's good. Man, I'm just like hodgepodging all this crap together.
That's alright. I mean, we've already gone for 37 minutes. That's more than
Yeah.
I thought with just the 2 of us and very little topic.
The only other real thing I think I got, college sports related was, they're trying to change the college football playoff all over again, adding more teams, 16 teams, and looking at how they wanted to do. Like, is it gonna be like just the top 5 conference champions and 11 at large? Or are you gonna do like guaranteed bids with Sun Belt? Yeah, it's guaranteed bids with the Sun Belt, guaranteed bids with the SEC and Big Ten.
How
So
much of this do you think is just ESPN looking for off-season content, and so they just start rumors themselves?
that's not that's pretty good thought right there. It, yeah, I had not thought about that at all, but that is a good one. They got to talk about something. I mean, we're still stretching talking about Nicolas Cage being at Georgia State Stadium, and they got to fabricate something better than that. So yeah,
I didn't put that together. Nick Cage is great.
Nick Cage and Christian Bale. You got Batman. Batman's in Georgia State Stadium right now.
Nice.
So
For like
yeah, I,
for like 30 minutes to say one line and then he's out.
he's probably in always. My one experience of being an extra, he sits in a trailer all day long, comes out and does his like 30 minutes of saying the same line over and over again. That was Robert Downey Jr. And then he's gone, and we've been
Yep.
there for 8 hours, sitting there waiting for that whole little shtick. But apparently I guess what they're calling the 5+11 is gaining steam, which is kind of basically an extension to what it is now, where the top 5 conference championships get a spot, and there's 11 at large bids versus like a guaranteed 4 SEC schools, a guaranteed 4 Big Ten schools. But
That's good because
I
that
think
that is
6.
stupid shit. Oh, but is there not one G5 still?
Well, it's top 5. It's top 5 conference champions, so there's only 4 power
Oh, I see.
conferences. So,
Yeah, okay.
so it means one gets in no matter what. But I don't know. 16 teams, I think, is too much for this level of football.
I don't know.
I think that FCS has more than that, but I think the FCS, I think most of those teams are far closer in playing ability. I think that you don't really need more than 8 teams in a college football playoff. I think anything beyond 8 is excessive, because there's no way that some of those teams are really going to have a chance to legitimately compete for a championship. It's not like it's not like the NFL where even the bottom of the barrel is not that far off
Yeah,
from the
they're all
top.
about the same, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So like you have wild card teams in the NFL that win the Super Bowl. It's happened. You're not going to have, 16 the 16th team in the nation win the whole college football playoff. It's just not
No,
going
but
to
if we
happen.
did, it'd be neat.
It'd be great. I just don't see it happening at all. Which I'm probably arguing against a G5 program getting into the tournament altogether. But
Oh yeah,
I
because
think
we're not
six.
usually ranked too much higher than that.
Yeah, I think that the 16 teams is just too many, and that's obviously just a money grab. Just we want more games, we want more playoff games, so let's add more teams, get more playoff games. But I don't think you're ever going to see a 16 seed make it to the championship game
It is
or
more
even close.
quality games too, right? Because you have like all ranked matchups for what a
Yeah,
couple of weeks, I guess, which is
yeah.
pretty cool. And I don't know. I think 16 is probably pushing my limit of saying there's too many, but I'm probably okay with it. There's like 132 teams or 135 teams, something like that.
If you want, well, the Conference USA keeps on promoting teams, so I forget. I think it's 132, 133, something
We're
like
in the
that. No,
130s. And
yeah.
so 16 out of 130s, that's probably still a decent percentage, you know.
Yeah. So Mojo saying a 16 team bracket could mean a 17 game season for the championship. I don't care. It's a football game. It's you're getting paid a lot of money to go do that. You're getting a free education to go do that. I don't care
Mhm.
about the number of games. NFL plays 17 games every season as regular season, not counting the preseason, not counting the postseason. So I'm not worried about 1, 2 extra games for teams. I like more football. That's fun. I just think that legitimately you're not going to have anybody outside the top 8, maybe top 10 that are really going to vie for it. So
Yeah, and like your top teams like that are generally going to have some depth anyway. They're going to be able to be rotating people in and out, and people aren't going to be playing nonstop for all those games.
you're going to see a lot more injuries pushing college athletes that hard. Yeah, probably.
I mean, I'd be interested to see that bear out. Like somebody should be tracking that, and we should be able to see the data if it happens. Because I just don't necessarily buy it. I mean, I never was a football player, so I guess I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But I
I
don't know.
saw
It might
somebody's proposal. This was nobody of relevance to my knowledge. I think it was just a blogger or something like that was just trying to think of something to put out there. But his solution to the number of games and the injuries was to limit the number of games a player could play. So, like, even your starting quarterback could only play, I don't know, 10 games, 12 games or something like that. So you have to pick and choose like, oh, we have our FCS team coming up here. Let's not put the starting quarterback in this game so we can save him for later in the season or something to minimize the number of games that are being played, which is a dumb idea completely.
Well, and I mean, it's sort of like baseball though, right? Where you're like rotating the pitcher, and you have a rotation
Oh, right.
going, I
Yeah.
guess, and so you would have that, and so you would have just a weird down game every now and again when those players are not in.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you'd get to pick, and you'd be rotating. You'd be like, okay, well, it's our cupcake, so we'll rotate them out this game.
All right. I'm going to have to do some research here. Leon's asking how many games to the FCS championship play.
I was gonna say, how many teams is in there? Because I feel like that is it's a large number, like
I want to
half
say it's like
of
24
FCS
teams,
goes.
isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
How big is the FCS playoff tournament? I don't know. ChatGPT for the win here.
Well, maybe.
I will see. It's searching the web to figure out. I want to say there's 24 teams. 24 teams. I was right.
Nice.
Automatic bids. 10 conference champions receive automatic bids at large. 14 teams are selected by the committee. The top 16 teams were seeded.
And then how many
The
FCS teams are there total?
yeah, I don't know.
Sorry to make you do all this research.
God dang it! It keeps on autocorrecting FCS because it's a stupid word. How many FCS teams?
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting fewer and fewer. They're since we moved up, it's been what 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, something like that. I've joined
Yeah.
since we have
There's probably not as many like D2 move ups because they're
129.
yeah, so it's very
120.
very similar. So like FCS does this already, and I don't necessarily they would have the data on whether there's more injuries during their
But
playoffs
I would,
playing all those
I
games.
so I think that I don't know. FCS definitely has a top tier and a bottom tier for sure. But I think that your top tier in FCS, because figure that your quality of player in the FCS is far below most. There are very few people that could get into FBS, an FBS team that end up going to FCS. Most if
The
you're going to
average
play.
quality of play is lower. Yeah.
Right, yes. The talent there is a talent disparity there.
Right.
So I think that your talent is probably more universally distributed in the FCS level than it is in the FBS level. The bottom of the FBS are getting those players that were just good enough to not be FCS and future NFL Hall of Famers. So I mean, granted,
I don't know. I think there's a pretty high top and a pretty low bottom in FCS.
oh well, there's definitely I think that there's a very low bottom, very low bottom. But
Yeah.
I think that the top is a larger top because with the FBS, we talk about it's gonna be like the top 10, 12 teams are going to win the championships every single year. Whereas I guess the FCS it's like the top 3 teams. It's like with North Dakota State, South Dakota State,
Montana State, I think.
I think
Eastern
Montana.
Washington always does well, I think.
Yeah, and then the teams that moved up to it was
Sam
the
Houston,
Appy,
right? Yeah.
yeah, Appy and Jimmy
Absolutely.
Madison. So Sam
TDS.
Houston.
I know we
Well,
don't like to give them credit, but
no idea what you're talking about there.
they have 6 flags. So
From
does
like
Atlanta, but
something from like the 80s. I think their last flag is older than my wife. So
I mean, they got after those asses. Happy Pride, TDS.
oh, they made a joke about a gay joke about Georgia State. Somebody's posting pictures of helmets, and so this week or this post was the Georgia State white helmet, which I love the white helmet, but it had the panther head on one side and the Panthers, not the script Panthers, but like that leaning lettering Panthers on the other side, and they had
Oh,
the
yeah.
little stickers. It was a sharp looking helmet. I liked it. I reposted it from our account, and some TDS fan said, "Of course they covered this one during Pride Month," and I'm like, I don't know if you're homophobic or closeted gay or just dumb or whatever. And he did admit that he was homophobic and closeted gay. So I was like,
Oh, both. Cool.
congratulations,
That's
congratulations.
sad.
But
I hope
that's
he finds somebody to talk to about that because that's, that could be a lifelong struggle.
I mean, not to get into all that kind of crap, but I feel like in 2025 we're actually trying to insult a school because gay kids go there. I'm like, come on, like whatever. I have less of a problem with the gay kids going to Georgia State than I do with the drunk football player on top of the school bus tossing crap out there. That's a bad look for your school. Not having gay kids at your school.
Honestly, every single year we have some number of TDS transfers into Georgia State, and that's I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know why we would do that, but we do. We take pity and we let them in, and we're like, you know what? Everyone deserves an education, and so you too can come to Georgia State.
Well, yeah, for sure. Yeah, you went down to your community college down in Statesboro, and you realized that that wasn't for you, and so I was talking to another Twitter account, and he says that he wants to. He went to a Georgia State game when we were in the Dome, but he hasn't made it to Center Park Stadium yet, and he's going to try to make it up in a couple of years. But he's going to Statesboro this year, and I was like, make sure all your vaccinations are in order before you head down there. He thought it was funny. I find myself funny.
Uh,
So. All right. I don't think I have anything else, man.
I mean, we've gone for almost an hour. I think we're
Yeah.
good.
We've had some long episodes, so this makes sense. Tone it out a little bit.
Mhm.
Well, thanks for everybody for listening. Thanks for the people that commented. That was awesome. Love having comments. Gives us something else to drone on about for a little bit longer. And
Also, Mojo Jojo is the best. So,
yes.
sorry, I loved Powerpuff Girls when I was younger, and Mojo Jojo was amazing. So.
Yes, I agree. I was not a Powerpuff guy. I do. I like the outfits. Wait, no, I'm thinking Sailor Moon. I'm thinking of Sailor Moon.
Oh, I'm like Powerpuff Girls are little girls.
And thank you, Mojo. Likes the episode there. Appreciate it, man. Hey, we're gonna go over to last call, talk a little bit more, candidly, more drinks, more foul language, stuff like that. You can find it on our Patreon page, patreon.com/State of Atlanta. It is free of charge, but it comes out a little bit delayed. So for our non-paying members, if you want to be a paying member, check out patreon.com/State of Atlanta. For $5 a month, you get priority access to last call, as well as access to our private group chat and discounts on merchandise. We try to do free alcohol at tailgates when it's sponsored, and more stuff like that. So please check it out if you can. That's all I got. Say goodbye, guy.
Goodbye, guy.
Peace. Oops.